Sanakori. Welcome to the Guaraca of the Behike. Um, Guaraca in Taino means cave, one of the words in Taino. And this is where the Behikes mostly did their work. And this was in the caves. Um, in today's show, I'm going to introduce you all to how to create a Taino altar. Just going to wait a little bit, set something up, wait for some people to come in. All you future downloaders, thank you for downloading the show. And anyone who's live right now, thank you so much. If you have any comments, you can write it down. Welcome to the live chat. If you have any questions, let me just set some stuff up here. Now, my disclaimer for this show is this is my personal views of how to set up a Taino altar. It's not etched in stone. I did not go to an ancient library and dug this information up. There's really no manual that says this is how you make a Taino altar. We get little glimpses of our ancestral past according to the invaders who witnessed a lot of the stuff that we know today as ancestral. And unfortunately, that's the reality. There weren't many, our ancestors didn't write any books, but they did have these beautiful stories. And for those that don't know, Ramon Pane was commissioned. He was a friar. Um, they said he was a lay friar. That means he really wasn't a priest in holy orders in the Catholic Church, but he was most likely a brother. And Christopher Columbus gave him the authority to to learn as much as he could the theology, as the Spanish will say, their study of God, our ancestral study of God, our worldview. Um, they would say a religious worldview. For us, it was cultural. It was uh, what's that word? Sorry, I'm a little going blank here. The worldview for us was within the spiritual and physical realms. It was a perfect harmony, as they say, like the yin yang, right? There was tremendous dualism of how our ancestors saw the world. Rain, the sun, life, death. This was a dance, and it was natural. It was natural. So when we read Ramon Pane, we read the stories that he recorded, um, and there is some theories that he didn't write. Didn't write. It was Juan Mateo, but that's another video. And basically, what did we have? We have glimpses of our ancestral practices. So, what happened when the invaders went to the different bohíos? Either by force, because we know there were a lot of mass murders. They show no respect. They will go into these bohíos and kill women, children, elders at will. And this happened all the time. So when they went into these bohíos, they saw what they describe as altar. And I just want to say an altar is more of a kind of a Judaic Christian kind of language. When you say altar, I think what they were seeing was something similar to this because it's in creation stories. It was probably a gore, right, containing uh, maybe some ancestral bones, because this is what we read in the story of Yahya and his son Yayael. And it probably had a table, holding these sacred objects, and definitely it would hang from the roof of the bohio, you know. And we know that the invaders saw these things. Uh, so I'm going to share what I do. Okay, please don't imitate 100% what I do. This is something that I've learned through the years, And I solely do not base this on the writings, okay? But those writings inspire me. When I read about Yaya Ed, I read about um, one of my favorite characters, Bayamanako, the old man. So, so what happens is when you read these stories, our ancestors were giving us clues of their worldview. So, for example, when you think of Yaya, right? According to the story, he killed his son because he was very rebellious. He went against the order of the dynamics of the tribe, but he put his bones in a gore and he hung it on top of the gane where he lived. So now we're looking at some organized rituals when it came to honoring the dead. So I just want to show you here. This is what I do. This is what I personally. This is what I do in trying to interpret that. Um, this is my deceased father-in-law. So what I do, this was his funeral card, Jose Santana. And what I do is I put it in the gore. And here's another. This is another funeral card of one of my patients. As you know, I work in hospice care. So this is what I do. I put it in the gore. So for me, these are the bones. These are their bones. So when I set up my altar, when I honor people who've passed on, to the spirit world, this is what I do. These are recent deaths. So this is in my altar. Now, when I think of Deminan Karakarakor, now Deminan, according to the story, he brought about the oceans. So what I do is I have a gore that's all cracked and broken because when he tried to put the gore back, it fell and it broke and so on. So what I do in my altar, I have a cracked gore that I got from Borinquen. It's all cracked up, and I put stones here that I collected from Borinquen and Quisqueya. And these are power. They're filled with the power of the islands. That's my interpretation. So I put that on the altar. And this also represents the mineral world. This for me is um, Makokaed. Now Makokaed was a character in the creation stories where he was guarding the cave, the first humans. So this reminds me of the mineral people. And the mineral people are so important for us. These minerals, they contain um, so much power. And of course, minerals that we need. We need over 100 minerals to survive. So many of these stones collect these minerals. A lot of these minerals, these stone people, I get from caves. And and this I got by the beach. So we got ocean water um, power, and we have cave. So this is on my altar. Okay. So we got the minerals. So I'm reminded of Makokael. He of the eyes do not blink. I have the gore, a cracked up gore that reminds me of Deminan Karakara Gore. He's he is he is my favorite character in the creation stories. We think of the bird people, the animal people, our relatives, and so I keep an owl feather in the gore. Okay, because the in the creation stories, Kahubaba, whose name turned into Kahubaba Ed, from a human he turned into a bird representing the bird people. So we have mineral, we have bird, right? And then it's always important. This is what I do in my on my altar when I'm ready to go into that space. I have a plant. I got this bottle from Quisqueya. I try to be groovy, That's my indígena Mavi. I try to be cool, I love symbols, so that feeds my imagination. So I use the plant world, and it's also found in creation stories. The hobos, how some of the humans turn into hobo trees. So when you read these creation stories, it ignites your imagination, and also, wow, this is how our ancestors saw this. There was a tremendous connection between, the plant people, the mineral people, the bird people, or the animals. And there's one more sacred object that you need in your altar, and that is you, me. So we have the four sacred medicines: humans, our animal relatives, our mineral relatives, and our plant relatives. Now, when you think of Bayamanako, the old man, you think of rituals as well. He introduced us to tobacco that's connected to the Uncohoba, right? So you got tobacco, which is a prerequisite of when you use the cohoba, you mix the tobacco. And also, our ancestors used tobacco in the form of cigars as part of ceremony. Now, what I do, since I live with other people, I tend not to smoke this in the apartment, and I don't have a backyard. So what I do is, instead of smoking it, I try to put it in my mouth, so I absorb the plant medicine. So sometimes, if you keep it in your mouth long enough, you know, you're gonna feel the medicinal values of it. It opens up your circulation system, and this is what nicotine does. It opens up your circulation. So if anyone out there has issues with high blood pressure or circulation, this tobacco is very, very important to use in part of your medicinal, practices. Or if you want, you can cut a little bit of it if it's pure tobacco leaf, and you put it and you chew some of it, and that will give you a very relaxation kind of mood where you can relax during the ceremony. Try not to take too much because you can get very dizzy, and you can get nauseous as well. If you get nauseous when you chew it, even when you put it in your mouth, sometimes you get nauseous and you want to purge. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Purging is good. Our ancestors practiced purging. They even had the spatula where they put in their throat and they would um, vomit, take those toxins out. Prepare yourself. So always, I try to use tobacco all the time. You know, without lighting it. Now, when you light it, it does give you that medicinal energy and stuff. Very good stuff. Tobacco, bayamanako. And then I don't use jojoba in my altar, but what I do use is I use water, okay, along with the plant. Now I got some water over there that I normally will put it on my forehead or put it on my face and stuff like that. Um, and that's over there. I should well, I'm holding the camera, but maybe I'll get it later. Now, another thing that I have is fire. Bayamanako shows us the power of fire. So you have to have some kind of fire, in your altar. It could be a little candle. Now, back in the day, I come from a tradition of pirititas, spiritualists, and they always get the long candles with different symbols and stuff. I love the ones with the indio, But I got into the habit of using these candles that has metal, these tea candles, because if something happens, it's not gonna stay lit for 7 days or something. Got to be careful with fires, especially in apartments. So I use these tea leaves. And sometimes I get a bowl if I'm in a good mood, and I put them in the bowl filled with water. Okay. Sometimes I put roses in the water, or I'll put alcoholado, um, because again, smell is very important. You gotta have fun with this. Okay, in your altar, you gotta have fun. That's the thing, because it's gonna open you up. It's gonna open up your heart, open up your mind. You have to use all your senses. Okay, so I just lit the fire. Now, one of my favorite semis is it was gifted to me, is Yokahu Bagua Manakoti. So I have Yokahu here with me. Just gonna show you. This is made out of. It's a replica of a Yokahu. Right here, it's a replica and it has the different designs by the Guillen brothers. Created this, and it was. I received this gift from them. So this is Yokahu Bagua Manakoti. And this is a semi, a sacred object. Okay. Anyone who knows me, I love the circles, and there's the circle right there. So, Yokahu is that masculine energy, you know. Um, okay, what else? Okay, also sometimes what I do is I'll burn incense, my favorite incense. So here's some people know me. If I don't, I don't smoke the cigar. It's a very strong smell. A lot of people don't like that, but that's alright. You gotta show respect, right? If you're sharing space. So I do a nice candle. This is Palo Santo incense right here. So that's my good smokes. That's my good smokes right there. Again, the senses: smell, hear, taste, see. You need to use all these elements in your, to heighten the experience. Now I have atabe. You know how I have atabe? Because you want to balance the harmony of the masculine and feminine. So this was gifted me many moons ago. It's an Indian woman. It's handmade. They used to make these dolls. Turn it to 20th century. She's carrying a baby. This is Atabe for me, and that's Yokahu right there in the form of a baby because she gave birth to Yokahu, right? According to the ancestral worldview, Yokahu Bawa Manakoti, the spirit of the Yuka, of the ocean, or the water, who had no beginning or father. But Yokahu had a mother, so I use this representation, this image, you know. So, so I put her on the altar as well, next to Yokahu. This time I'm just gonna put it opposite, just to show. Um, Now, sometimes what I do is I follow a kind of a religious tradition. In a lot of traditions, they use a hat. When you look at Demina Karakakor, you can see that he's having he has like some form of skull cap, as you can tell. So it seems like our ancestors, the spiritual folks, the Behikes, used to keep something in their head. So what I like to do, I like to use a it can't get more traditional than this. This is the traditional um, headwear of our Naboria people, the workers. When they work the fields, they wear a hat. So I like to wear a hat during ceremonies because it kind of brings me back to that time. You got to use imagination. You have to use imagination. This is what I do. Um, so I keep my crown, my head covered. So again, just be as creative, but just use the elements, okay, of the creation stories. You gotta get into it. You gotta adapt to what what helps you in the 21st century. Now, a lot of people in their altars, they have instruments. For example, maraca, very powerful tool. This is the tool that our behikes we use. Very sacred tool. It's something that's dead, but it comes to life when you make rhythm, you make sound, music. So this is the representation of life and death right here. So depending on your vocal skills, your singing skills, you don't have to be a pro, but you have to talk to your rattle. You gotta listen to it. Then you get some sounds. Like, for example, only you can dictate what songs you're gonna sing. No one's gonna say, "Hey, that's not Taino." You know, they shouldn't say that. You create your songs. Why? Because as human beings, you are one of the sacred beings. Just like the animal world, the mineral world, um, the plant world. You're sacred, man. You're part of this natural harmony. So whatever comes out in you, go for it, man. You know, go for it. So that's what you do. Now, sometimes when I'm in a good mood here in the Taino Funhouse, I will, you gotta have fun. If you're gonna be all serious, I guess you could be serious. There's time to be serious. But I think in ceremony, it should be a fun time. It should be a good fun time. So when I'm kind of like down and out, cranky, moody, and I sit in my altar and I don't want to do anything, I have my musician friends here to help me. So that's my Koki my Wakan player right here. So I'll let him play, man. I'll let him play when I don't want to play. Right? Oh wait, you stopped. What's up? Okay, so he stopped. Yeah, he's right here. So he's on my altar there. So I'm just gonna give you a quick glimpse. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So I use the desk. I use my desk. So it's my altar, and sometimes I'll leave it there several days, and I'll change it up. I'll change it up. Oh, I forgot to show you. Sometimes you can get these feather wings and stuff. I use as a Behike, I use hawk and also owl and medicine. So this is these with these feathers, these wings you can use for to smudge yourself. So 4 steps. One is prepare yourself, prepare your altar, get all your tools. Okay. Step number 2, you're gonna focus on those things that today, okay, was a distraction. You're gonna focus on those things that prevent you from growing. You're gonna focus on things that prevent you from being on, setting up an altar. So that's step 2. You're gonna be honest with yourself. If you insulted someone during the day, be honest with yourself and bring it to the altar. Step number 3, whatever image of God that you have, it could be Yaya, it could be Atabe, Yokahu, whatever image you have of God, your relationship to God, you're gonna you're gonna call out to this God, call out, and you're gonna ask for that power to come into you, okay? And that can take 5 minutes. It can take an hour. It's up to your preparation, what you put in, okay? And once you get that power, the essence, the ideal concept of ceremony is not to receive, it's to give. So once you receive this power that's natural, it comes to us every single day when we breathe, when you receive food. This is all gifts from the Creator. What we're going to do now is whatever power you receive in your altar, in your ceremony, you're going to think of somebody, or you're going to think of some people. Maybe it's the Palestinian people who are suffering, okay? Maybe it's the Israelis. You're sending them the power to chill, to bring about peace. Maybe it's your mother. Maybe you had an argument with your mother early in the day. Send her that power. So basically, you don't keep the power, you give it away. Okay? And the essence, the secret of all this, and I'll share it here, that when you receive, give it away. And once you give it away, you'll be empty so you can get more power. You can get more blessings. The more you receive, the more you give. Okay? Our Taino ancestors were We're expert at this. During times of utter chaos, they still manage to feed the oppressor, which is amazing. Our ancestors truly understood, which is ideal for me. I meditate on these stories often because, like, wow, how can I be like my ancestors who gave these invaders? They gave them love, respect, and understanding during times of war, of invasion. And then when I get upset, in the altar, it's natural, okay? Because what's gonna happen? He's playing. What's gonna happen is in ceremony, the dynamics. One is you're gonna focus on your physical selves. Okay, we're all physical, so that's gonna come up in ceremony. Your mental health. Maybe you're going through depression, anxiety, um, PTSD, intergenerational PTSD because we inherit the trauma of our ancestors. So that can come up in your altar in your ceremony, and then you have your emotions. They're gonna wow. You can cry, you can laugh. That's all gonna happen in ceremony when you set up your altar. And then another aspect that you're gonna experience in ceremony and your altar is that whole the power of spirituality, the power of connecting to something greater than yourself. Okay, so we're not stuck solely on me or you. We're we're making the connections. We're connecting to the mineral world. We're connecting to the animal relatives. Okay, we're connecting to the plant world. Okay, and we're connecting to one another. So when we give that power away, we are connecting with other people. They may not know us, but we're sending them energy. That's what ceremony is all about. And this is why having an altar. See, you have your yokahu. I have my gore. I have my fire. I have my cigar. I have my smoke. I have my musician here. I have my elders who passed on. You know, just funeral cards. I got my yokahu. I got my atabe. With yokahu there. They're all on my altar. I got the plant world. So this feeds us. This is energy right here. This energy. Okay. So, and if you're feeling really, if your ceremony is kicking you hard, real hard, take out that cigar. You don't have to smoke it. Just put it in your mouth. You know, you can chew some of it and you can relax. You can relax. A lot of people use other medicinal plants. Um, it's up to you, but you always have to be safe. That's very important. Safety is number one. Okay. A lot of people like to fast before a ceremony or before they go into their altar, and that's all right. But it's always important, I don't have this here now, but I have an offering um, to the spirit world. It could be a food plate. It could be a sardines. Definitely tobacco. And then after you finish your ceremony, before you go to bed, it's good maybe to go outside and offer some tobacco, offer some food. Remember, ceremony is to give, not to take. This is why it's very controversial in the spirit, in the what do they call it, in the medicine path when it comes to money and so on. But the essential spirit of all this is to give. We're giving. Okay, so your altar or sacred space is a place where you can plan how are you going to give. Okay, and the quickest way to give is energy. Okay, energy. We already received the blessings. I received much blessings today. I ate twice today. I had some good drinks. Um, I spoke to some people today in my job, and I met a lot of great people. And I was gifted all these wonderful things today. So now it's my turn in front of my altar to start giving it all away. That's what ceremony's about. So our ancestors, when they had these altars in their bohíos, or it could have been a gore, whatever, um, their mindset, their worldview was to give. That's why it was easy for them to give the invaders yuca or sancocho. And they were ruthless people, but our ancestors were beautiful people. See, we don't become ruthless because of the oppression. We become stronger through our love. And having an altar reminds us of this. Receive the power, give it away. And this is something that I do. You don't have to do this. When you set up your altar, you look at it and says, "Damn, it's kind of dusty. It's kind of dusty. I never clean up the the ashes. Sometimes you can have hey, I'll confess right now. Sometimes I have oh yeah, right. I have. See, he's confirming it. I'll have some ashes piled up, you know, and then it's like, damn, my altar's it's out of control. So this is another level of an altar. It's a reflection of you, you know. So if your altar is messy, if you don't have any more water in your plants, if you ran out of candles, whatever, or you don't have no more cigars and you forgot to buy it, it's a reflection. You're looking at a mirror. An altar is a mirror. And the mirror is you're looking at yourself. So this is another thing that I do. I have a mirror on my altar. Okay? Twofold. I look at myself in the mirror, and two, I deflect any negativity that's coming my way. Sometimes that happens. And sometimes we're the author of that negativity. When we think about other people who maybe hurt us or we want to hurt. So a mirror is a good example. It's a good symbol to remind us that, hey, we have the power to deflect. And we also have the power to look at ourselves. So an altar is a reflection of you, your commitment to the spirit world, the physical realm, your mental health, your spirituality. And there's one more thing about an altar. If you see the circle, our sacred circles, you see them in all our semis. Look at the dot in the middle. Okay? That dot right there is my interpretation is that's the will. You know? Every living being, and I'll include God into this, even though I don't know truly 100% who is God, but one thing that I know about nature, there's always a motivation behind every action. From the lioness that attacks the hyena for food, the dog that chases the cat that chases the mouse. That's at a survival level. They're motivated to kill so they can eat. It's the food chain, right? For us humans, wow. For us humans, what motivates you? What does your will? What is the what is your will? And if you can figure that out, that hole in the middle, if you can figure the power of the center point, then that's where you can get your visions. This is where you can see beyond this physical realm. You can see to the spirit world, you know? And once you can see where you need to be, where you need to be now or in the future, then you're on your way. You got a good altar going there. Okay? So I just want to thank you all for tuning in and taking time out to tune in. Again, this is not something that I want to say is traditional that I found in a handbook somewhere in a cave because we didn't have any writing. But it's important that you sit down, talk to the ancestors, and they will show you. They will show you the way. So that's, if anything, that I'm trying to share with you all today. Take the time. Take the time for yourself and others. Okay? And don't forget, get those nice cigars, but get the cigars that don't have any chemicals in it, you know? And the key thing is have fun. Have fun. If you don't have fun, what's it all for, you know? Thank you all. Welcome to the Taino Funhouse. This is Behike Sanakori of Arayeke Yukayeke and all of Taino Nation. Thank you.